Here are some essential tips for creating effective outbound campaigns in 2024. Now, first of all, let's take a look at why most of these gurus say cold outbound doesn't work, right? What if you are concerned about this, right? What if an influencer said cold outbound doesn't work, Does that really hold true? Now, the reason why they say cold outbound doesn't work is because number one, they got something else that they want to sell you, to be honest. And number two is the method that they were using before didn't work for them. And because of that, they believe that cold outbound in general doesn't work for anybody, which is 100% false. There are many companies that leverage outbound to generate pipeline, more book calls, and close deals. The question is, though, like, what are they doing differently in order to get those outcomes? What differentiates them from these so-called gurus, right? Remember when outbound was straightforward, right? You'll create a templated email, compile a list using Apollo, and then locate emails using Hunter and then start sending. If you try this in 2024, you pretty much will have almost zero burst to response rate. Modern outbound marketing is far more intricate. To thrive, you need expert level copywriting, strong technical skills, proficiency in integrating multiple tools, and a strategy driven by data. What this means is 99% of the amateurs, the bottom cold emailers, will be struggling. The amateurs are going to be having a really hard time seeing any success with cold email because of the recent changes in deliverability and the introduction of new sales tools. Running a sales campaign, a successful email campaign, is 10x harder than it was even a few months ago, right? Compared to a few months ago, it's way more harder. The big question here is, how do you deal with this increasing difficulty, right? Now, in order to understand the answer to that question, you need to first identify the current landscape of outbound. Before we do that, first of all, let's define what outbound is. According to revenue.io, outbound sales involves reaching out to potential buyers proactively through email, phone, social media, or other channel. The primary purpose is to contact people with the aim of generating sales as opposed to for them to take action, right? Instead of waiting, you proactively reach out to potential buyers through a channel like email, phone, or social media. Today we'll be covering about cold email primarily only, right? So once again, you're trying to get them to take action proactively. The challenge is fewer people are saying yes. Now, why is that happening? Because there are so many different sellers out there reaching out to them with very similar pitches, right? That's the issue. Same old copy, same old lead list, and same old targeting. Everybody's targeting the same old people with the same old copy. So that's why it's not working. With that in mind, you gotta also understand that there's also new tech, right? New tech in outbound to enable us to do research on a much more effective basis. It leverages AI to do that. And also there is new tech in place to identify spam much more effectively as well, better spam filters that once again leverage AI and so on as well, which means that it's much more harder for our emails, right, genuine emails, to get into the primary inbox too. So you gotta keep these things in mind as well, right? It's not all doom and gloom. What works now, right? What works effectively now is scaled or automated personalized outreach. That's what works now. The name of the game is scaled or automated personalized outreach. Scaling personalization for thousands of contacts at once whilst ensuring maximum relevancy is once again the name of the game. Now, relevant emails will always win. First of all, what's the difference between relevancy and personalization? Relevancy refers to how pertinent or appropriate the content of your message is to the recipient's needs, interests, and pain points. Also, the focus is to ensure that the content addresses the specific challenges or opportunities faced by the recipient. The goal is to capture attention by demonstrating an understanding of the recipient's role, industry, and so on. Also the specific situation as well of the prospect that's receiving the email. An example would be sending an email about a software solution that specifically addresses a common problem in the recipient's industry. Now, personalization involves in tailoring the content to the individual recipient by incorporating specific details about them. It includes using the recipient's name, company name, and so on, basic stuff, and also much more advanced stuff such as recent achievements or other personal details that can be publicly sourced, right? Sourced from public data sources in the communication. The goal is to create a sense of individual attention to build a connection with the recipient. An example would be mentioning the recipient's recent blog post or congratulating them on a recent award in your email. Now, if you have two pieces of copy one which is heavily personalized but is not so relevant, and copy two which is not so personalized but is strongly relevant, copy 2 will most likely outperform copy 1 because of the fact that there is more relevancy. The higher your relevancy, the more valuable your solution is perceived. So when crafting emails, ensure that you prioritize relevancy because AI generated first lines alone is not going to save your emails. Now let's break down an email, right? An email can be broken down into these components: subject line, email body, and then CTA. Optimizing these three components is key for success. Now let's take a look at the subject line. You gotta keep it simple here. The point is to evoke enough curiosity for them to open the email first. Keeping it simple with the subject line like any thoughts on this first name, quick question, first name is best. It should look like it probably came from a customer or colleague, since that increases the likelihood of the email being open, right? What's the point of writing a great email if they don't even open it? No point. Now, here are some ideas for email body and CDS. First, let's take a look at the call to actions, CDS that is. There are two types: direct ask, soft ask. An example of a soft ask would be open to exploring more, or would you be interested? Mind if I share more information? Something like that. A direct ask is where you straight up ask them if they're open to booking a call. Open to a call this upcoming Thursday or Wednesday. Softer asks tend to perform better compared to direct asks since the commitment that you ask from their side is lower. However, the leads that you get from your direct asks have higher intent of purchase. My suggestion would be to split test both and see what performs better, since it all depends on multiple variables such as offer, industry, and the service that you're delivering to them as well. Now, how to personalize and increase the relevancy of your emails with tools like Clay. Going back to personalization and relevancy, let's talk about how do you even bring that into your emails. You can do that through leveraging trigger events such as hiring events, funding events, and so on. You can do that through referencing recent achievements or news related to them to show that you have done your homework. And also you can do that through tailoring your message to address specific pain points and solutions relevant to their industry and role. Segment your audience to create more targeted messages for different groups, and also include personalized content or offers that directly relate to their interests and needs. This can include custom case studies where you share success stories from companies similar to theirs, highlighting how your solution addresses similar challenges, adjusting the CTA a little bit so that it's much more tailored to them. For example, a marketing agency would like the idea of qualified sales calls, whereas a SaaS company, for example, would prefer the industry language demos, right? They would prefer demos, more demos for their product, things like that. You got to keep in mind things like that when you are writing your cold email copy so that it's more personalized. You can use Clay to get the data for these triggered events, recent achievements, and news related to them, and so on as well. I'll create a much more in-depth guide on how to use Clay. I'll share that video pretty soon, so stay tuned for that as well. Now, here are some examples of copy. This is how a script back in the day used to look like. Hey, first name, so that you run company name, incredible stuff. What we do is we help you run Facebook ads for your e-commerce company. Can we hop on a call to discuss more about how we can help your business? Best regards, person name, company name. While the script is not entirely bad, it has a very low conversion rate. Why? Because there's no personalization, there is no relevancy added in the email, meaning a reason that caused you to reach out, and the reason why your solution is highly suitable for them. And also number 3, the offer is weak as fuck. Facebook ads, come on. How can we change this? Hey, first name, saw that you're hiring for job title. Seems like you're offering a salary of minimum salary that they're offering to maximum salary range that they're offering. Also saw that you're looking for these KPIs from that person, KPIs that they have listed on that job, including number of generated SQLs and MQLs, for example. We can help you drive similar or better outcomes at a fraction of the cost that you'd be otherwise spending on payroll. In fact, we recently helped one of our partners add an additional 251K in sales pipeline in a month using our systems. Would you be open to exploring more on this? Now, I rewrote the copy. This is just an example, by the way. Now, why is this better? Because there is way more personalization, way more relevancy. It has highly personalized information that shows that we did our research. It states how we can help them in a clear and articulate manner. It also shows, it provides social proof via that case study, software CTA as well as included. Would you be open to exploring more on this as a way more softer call to action? Now, another overlooked factor is deliverability. Again, what's the point of writing a great email if the email lands in spam? Now, how do you ensure that the likelihood of that even happening is reduced as much as possible? Number 1, ensure that all the records are set up properly, including MX, SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. Ensure that you don't add in words that most likely will get tagged as spam. Ensure that the lists that you are uploading are cleaned and only consists of valid emails. Now, with that being said, let's go over to the next topic, which is list cleaning. You need to ensure that your lists are clean, meaning it should only consist of valid emails. How you do that is through tools like Outbound, Scrubby, and Debounce. Now, here are some things to look out for, as a final note. Overall reply rate, positive reply rate, and meetings booked from those positive replies. I like to do what is called as lead scoring. It's a process of ranking sales leads based on their perceived value and readiness to buy. You get to add points on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being zero interest obviously, and 10 being the highest intent of purchase. 2 points if the lead requests some information from you first. This is a lower intent positive reply, of course. 2 points more if the lead straight away wants to discuss more over a quick chat or meeting. 2 points more if the lead is booked on the meeting. It is a book call. 2 points more if when the lead shows up to the meeting, actually shows up. 2 points more on top of that, basically, when the lead wants to move, when the prospect wants to move towards the next steps of payment, which includes invoicing, agreements, and so on. You got to think of cold outbound as a private ads network. The open rate is the click-through rate, and the positive replies are the leads or opt-ins that you get. With that being said, I hope this video was useful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Right? Incorporate these tips into your cold email campaigns, your upcoming cold email campaigns, so that you can actually get better results. Let me know how it goes, and I will give you some feedback. You can message me on LinkedIn, of course, and we can connect there. Thank you and have a good one.